Hey everyone, and welcome back to yet another reaction. So, today's song is going to be an interesting one. Reason being that I wasn't actually planning on listening to this song. It's not one that's been suggested. I've seen a couple of people react to this. I haven't actually seen the videos, I've never listened to the song. I'm very hit or miss with modern Bring Me Horizon, and also quite hit or miss with Corpse. There have been a few songs of his that I actually have quite enjoyed, and I think his voice will go quite well with Bring Me Horizon's sound as a whole. So I've decided to check this out because I am interested to see how this goes and what it actually, I guess, sounds like, how they merge the styles together. But yeah, I'm going in with sort of mixed expectations on this one because unlike a lot of the other songs where I've kind of gone in expecting something fantastic, I'm not specifically expecting to like this song. So if I do like it, it'll be a pleasant surprise. But I want to be upfront that I'm going to be honest about that, whether I like this song or not. But it should be interesting nonetheless to see what this song's actually about, what they go for, because it is two quite different styles, I would say. I mean, from what I've heard of Corpse, there's some kind of heavy elements mixed in there, the same way Machine Gun Kelly kind of does his stuff. It's a different genre entirely, so I'm interested to see how the blend goes and if they lean more on Corpse's style or if they lean more on Bring Me Horizon style, or how it goes. To be fair, not that Bring Me Horizon have really got a style per se, because a lot of their albums have been very different to each other, but that is one thing I do like about Bring Me Horizon as a band. They're very good at changing things up and trying something new, and I do respect that even if I don't always like everything that they put out. Okay, let's get going.
Burn me out like cuts, fade out when Centralia dust, nostrils off of dust, or like veins too many needles touch. If pain is beauty,
I'm glad they have the lyrics on screen for me.
Got too quiet, now they're whispering. If you blink then you might miss it, every hour is a week. I don't need sympathetics, I just need some room to breathe. Do not fucking talk to me, my genetics got me tweaked. Running from myself, I can't blame them when they leave.
Interesting. I like that. What instrument is that in the background? I'm not actually too sure. Alright, I'm going to pause there for a second because that's kind of a good capturing of both phrases. It's interesting. I'm not sure what instrument that is. It sounds like some sort of woodwind. Does it sound like a woodwind instrument actually? Now I'm questioning myself. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's very interesting tone. At first I thought it was going into the Tetris theme, to be honest. The first kind of half of that pipe sounding instrument sounded like it was going into the Tetris theme, and I thought it was going to be a sample, but I mean, maybe it is still technically a sample, or maybe it's just they're choosing the same notes and then diverging off. It's fair, it happens. I am interested in the song. I think it feels. I'll see later, I guess, because we're only a minute in. I know it's only 2.5 minutes long or so. We're only a minute in. We'll see how the song actually develops. But at the moment, it's kind of, Corpse does his bit, and then Bring Me Horizon did their bit. And then there was a little bit of melding, but really the melding was, the sound came in, the pipe thing came in from Corpse's bit, and then the rest of it was just the Bring Me Horizon section. So I'm interested to see how they take it going forward, and if there's going to be a big merge towards the end, or if they're going to stay quite separate, where it's like, here's the rap bit, here's the metal bit, that sort of thing. But it's interesting. One thing I will say about Corpse's music that I think is what puts me off a lot of his songs is it's got edge to it, which, I mean, listening to metal, a lot of metal has edge to it, but it's not the kind of edge I like, I guess. Often I find it's quite, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just not really to my tastes in terms of the lyrics that they go down. Whereas, metal has a bit more of a specific sound that is just pleasing to me. Again, I'm not very good at explaining myself here necessarily. Yeah, there's a difference in the sound that I think I appreciate more with metal. Maybe because I'm definitely more of an instrumentation person. I definitely prefer instrumentation when there's a good hook or when there's a kind of good riff, that sort of thing. That really gets me going in a song. And in the kind of music that Corpse does, there just really isn't much instrumentation at all, to be quite honest with you. It's all vocal generally. So yes, I'm very interested to see how this goes. I'm going to go back a little bit because I'm aware this song is quite short, and I want to take some time to actually try and process the change. So thankfully with the lyrics on the screen, I can see, one, what they're talking about, and two, where the changeover is. One thing to actually mention as well, I did quickly read one comment, I think, before starting this, and it said something about chronic illness, and I am getting that from the lyrics, like even the one we're on at the moment. If you blink, then you might miss it. That's definitely something that people with chronic illnesses feel. I wouldn't say it's easy, but a lot of people with chronic illnesses are good at masking and essentially putting up a front, and people are thinking, oh, they must not be suffering at all, you know. It's very hard to actually spot these things. And there was a couple other lines which I'm sure we'll get to, you know, I'm not like them, a bunch of different things. We'll have a look and mention it throughout the song.
You might miss it. Every hour is a week. I don't need sympathy.
Every hour is a week, that sort of thing. People I know with chronic illnesses definitely have that feeling.
I can't blame them when they leave.
Yeah, I really like the Bring Me Horizon bit. It feels Suicide Season, which is something I've not heard from Bring Me Horizon in a long while. I think one other thing is it's played quite serious, the song as well, which I think is what's pulling me into it.
Starting to believe there's only one way I can stop this. If pain is beauty, I'm impurity. Yeah, you bring the match, I bring the curse. Let the counterfeit say suffocate me in my sleep. I don't wanna wake up on memories of it.
Those vocal layers are actually quite interesting. Who is that? Is that the two? Is that section both Corpse and Ollie together? I suppose with Corpse having such a sort of bass voice, it's going to make the layering sound different, because that sort of low of a voice isn't something you normally hear in general popular music. And as such, I think that's given actually quite an interesting effect to the vocal layering, because I think that's them together. Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound like one person layered multiple times. It sounds like that's the two of them singing together. And I think it's just, you know, Corpse's deep voice is giving it a very different tone, which I actually quite enjoy. In my personal opinion, Ollie going for basically what sounds like, oh, I'm trying to fit into Corpse's style of the low gravelly voice, I don't think that worked there. I think it would have been better if he'd gone with his voice, which is why I think the screaming part sounded quite good, because, you know, that's his style, that's what he does, and usually when you're doing a collab you want to merge the styles to an extent. A lot of people will like that, and that's fine, but it didn't really hit for me when he was doing that sort of low, or attempt at a low gravelly voice. I believe, I could be wrong, I believe Corpse has a condition that makes his voice so low, and so you're not going to get that low. And it doesn't sound like he was trying to get that low, but it definitely sounds like he was trying to imitate the style. And I think I would have just preferred if he'd gone with either cleans or, you know, somewhere that's in his range and the sound that Ollie generally goes for in a lot of his music. But it's definitely interesting. The layering is, the vocal layering is very, I want to say, I don't know if exciting is the word, but it's definitely, from what I expected from this song, that wasn't what I expected to enjoy as much, was how that layering works together. I'll go back a couple and yeah, just play through that again. Yeah, I'm not sure, maybe that is just one of them, but it sounds like it's an interesting sound for the layering. That was a very Suicide Season stream, I feel like. One thing, I'll just pause again, sorry. One thing I will say about Corpse's voice is it almost acts like an instrument of its own. And I know, you know, if you go to any of the vocal coaches, they'll be like, the voice is an instrument. I agree, the voice is an instrument, but when you're thinking about it in terms of a general normal song that would be released like this, you think of, you have the instruments and then you have the vocal section, because the vocals are going for, you know, words and clarity, usually clarity, not always, but they're going for, I feel like a different goal than what the instruments are usually going for. They kind of stand out as their own separate section, and I think Corpse's voice actually blends in quite well as an instrument, which I suppose makes the emptiness sound in a lot of his other songs work, because, you know, you might only have one or two little beats going on in the back, but his voice adds like an extra layer, and, you know, if you layer that again, then it's just layers upon layers. And so it does add that extra almost bass instrument into it. I'm definitely getting that from even talking about the genetics, I'm a code mistake, that all sort of thing. That does feel very applicable, and I really respect the theming on that, because I feel like chronic illness is one of those things that just isn't talked about enough, and a song like this could actually be quite therapeutic, I imagine, to somebody who experiences that. I'm very fortunate in that I don't experience that, but I know people who do, and it, you know, it's very difficult for them to actually handle that. People don't actually realise how difficult it can be, because they're like, oh, you deal with it every day, so it can't be that bad, as if that somehow makes it better. I don't know, but no, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't think it's the kind of song that I would listen to regularly, but I think if it was on, I would listen to the full thing. Does that make sense? Whereas I will say for quite a lot of Corpse's songs, I don't have that. I will just switch off onto something else. But this is, I like the musicality that's coming with this. And to be honest, the wee pipe thing that does like half of the Tetris theme, that's grown on me. I actually quite enjoy that being in there as an element. It almost, the tonality of it feels, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. I think I've heard sounds like that in kind of Marath's music, in your sort of North Africa to Middle East type music. You get a lot of those scales, I feel, and it feels like it's playing on one of those scales, but that could just be the instrument as well that's actually giving that. But definitely Marath is a band that I've heard that kind of scale from, and I really enjoy Marath. So let's keep going and probably get to the end in this play. Oh, that's a fun sound. Oh, I do like the slowdown. That's a breakdown. Oh, and just a wee laugh at the end. Fair enough. Yeah, that breakdown at the end was brilliant. I really enjoyed that breakdown at the end. No, that was very good. Yeah, a real mixed bag, I think, with this one, but it's definitely, I think it's easily going to be up there as, you know, one of my favourite Corpse songs, I suppose I would say. One I could listen to again, one I maybe wouldn't choose to, because I guess it's just not the vibe that I tend to go for when I'm listening to music. But no, that breakdown at the end was brilliant. The way it was incorporated with the electronic sounds and all that, and then the cut out and jump back in, you know, I love a cut out. Fantastic. Anyway, we'll go into our final thoughts. I won't discuss all this here. We'll just talk about it in our final thoughts on the song. Alright, so final thoughts. I think I did enjoy the song, and I wasn't expecting to enjoy the song, so I think that's already a win for me, in my opinion. I was not expecting to enjoy it. I was expecting to sort of be a bit more critical, but I thought it worked really well. I thought they merged the styles quite nicely. I would have maybe preferred more meshing, but because I feel like towards the end it was less of a mesh than it was just it became a Bring Me the Horizon song. But I suppose the issue is in a lot of Corpse's music, and even just that style of music, which I don't really know what you would call it, the style of music that he does, the sound is meant to be quite empty. So the only elements you can really bring are, you know, one or two beats or instruments and then your vocals. So I suppose it's fair enough that's just something that comes with the territory. You know, if you blended like a cappella with somebody else's style, the a cappella, all they can bring is the voices. It's not like they can bring any particular instrumentation. So one of them's going to just naturally dominate the other, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, which is fair enough. I mean, I do like Bring Me the Horizon to an extent, so I really enjoyed the parts of the song that really gave that. And to be honest, I did actually quite enjoy Corpse's bits as well. I didn't feel it as put off as I normally do, and I guess in some of his songs. I thought the theme that they were going for with the lyrics was good. I appreciate somebody making a song about this. I feel like it's not very common, if I'm interpreting it correctly. And again, I could just be influenced by the one comment. This is why I try to avoid reading things before coming into these reactions, because yeah, I feel like I get quite influenced by those, and it's hard to decouple that once you've already read it. But no, a very interesting song. Again, I appreciate that breakdown. That was an incredible breakdown. Like that went so hard, and that really did feel like not even Suicide Season. What's the album before? Oh god, I can't even remember the name of the album. It's the one with, you know, Diamonds Are Forever and that on it. I don't remember the name of the album, but it felt like that, Bring Me the Horizon. And there's another song of theirs I heard recently, which I can't even remember the name of it, that they released recently, that also gave that vibe. So I feel like maybe they're going to do a lot more of that stuff, and it feels like they're going back to that kind of roots, which I do appreciate. I was hit or miss with that very old stuff. Suicide Season I keep bringing up because that's one of my favourite albums by them. I think, to be honest, that might be my favourite album, closely followed by the one with Can You Feel... No, not the one with Can You Feel My Heart. That's Sempiternal. The one with the umbrella. What is the name of that album? I'm not remembering any words today. That's terrible. It's fine. I'll cover it all every time. I'll cover it all in the text here, I'm sure. And I'll chastise myself, and I'll put links and everything, you know, all of the stuff. But no, I really enjoyed that a lot more than I was expecting. I still don't think it's going to be one of those songs that I go back to often, but when it's on, I will enjoy it. I'll be able to get into it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing maybe more of the modern Bring Me Horizon stuff, if this is the style that they're going back to. Because I wasn't as big a fan of a couple of their more recent albums. But no, this style is good. This style is up my alley. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I really appreciate you watching to the end. If you're somebody who loves this song, again, I've not seen any of the other reactions. My assumption is they're probably overwhelmingly positive, people losing their minds, that sort of thing. That's just not what I do here. Oftentimes, even with songs I enjoy, I'm quite tempered. That's just sort of the person I am. But I really appreciate you sticking to the end, and you know, I guess listening to my thoughts on it and viewing it from a different perspective as somebody who isn't really as much into Corpse's music. If you are somebody who really enjoys it, you know, I'm never going to take anything away from anybody. You like what you like, I like what I like. you know, it doesn't always have to match. That's totally fine. But that's the whole point of this reaction channel for me, is one, to just have fun, two, to experience new music that maybe I wouldn't necessarily enjoy, but if I do, then I've found just another band that I'm into. You know, I've found another song that I can listen to. It's all positive stuff. And yeah, 3, it really is just to get those experiences and to be honest with my thoughts. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's the greatest thing I've ever heard if I don't necessarily enjoy the song. But I am being honest when I say I enjoyed this way more than I expected. And yeah, just thank you for watching. I'm sorry for that bit of a rant, but I just wanted to get that out there, because I feel like it's very easy to come off as negative towards people who enjoy the music when I didn't necessarily enjoy it as much as maybe people expect going into a reaction to this song. But I appreciate you coming along with me for this video. So thank you for watching. Please do all the YouTube things, like and subscribe, you know, all the usual stuff. Leave comments on what you thought of the song, if you agreed with me. If you absolutely despise me for what I said, you know what, feel free to leave a comment. I probably won't read, we'll just ignore those ones anyway. You're welcome to leave whatever you want, but I would obviously appreciate, you know, constructive discussion about it, because we just, different people have different tastes. It's just one of those things. But anyway, yes, sorry, I'm dragging this on for too long. Let's get out of here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.